is Cora, and today is going to be a bit of an improvised video. I want to discuss the idea of personal style as self-care, and I also want to talk about how it might relate to retail therapy, because I feel like one could excuse the other if you don't understand them both properly. This isn't a super researched video by any means. This is mostly just going to be me talking about my experiences and my opinions. However, I may put some resources in the description below, including the person who actually inspired this whole video, who is Stella Rose. I remember my friend Jessie Moonheart shared one of her Instagram posts in her story, and it was like one of those aesthetic text posts, and it said, "I want people to think of personal style as self-care." And when I saw that quote, something in my mind just clicked. I always, I guess, struggled to justify why I liked dressing like this. I almost feel hypocritical because even though I'm a proponent of sustainability, I still love wearing things that really aren't good for the environment. I love things that are shiny, that are plastic, that are sparkly. I feel like if I were to try and commit myself to whatever the most sustainable version of fashion is, then I wouldn't be happy and I wouldn't have that drive to fight this fight. There's also this internalized misogyny, this feeling that feminine hobbies and pastimes are frivolous. Is there anything really practical about dressing up just for the sake of feeling nice? And that was something that I couldn't really find an answer for until I saw that quote. Now, Stella Rose isn't a psychiatrist in any way, and self-care doesn't just involve doing stuff just because you think it's fun. It does also involve stuff like going to therapy, taking your meds, but there have also been moments throughout history where maintaining one's appearance has been an important form of self-care during dark times. During the Second World War, when the women had to go into the workforce for mostly office jobs while the men were fighting the war overseas, they still insisted on doing up their hair, wearing beautiful clothes, wearing makeup, and just maintaining the best appearance that they could. And there weren't any men around to police what they wore and how they wore it. So they did that as a way of raising morale. When you're in a world and you feel like everything is like out of your control, how you dress and how you present yourself is something that often is in your control. I think you may have noticed on my Instagram I've been posting more frequent looks, especially more frequent OTT looks, and that is because I have been dealing with anxiety due to me being in a very, very in-between stage of my life that I don't know when it's gonna end, and I feel like both too much and too little is in my control right now, and just being able to focus on my fashion and how I look and creative projects like these, it really does help me feel more confident. And I've been trying to find more reasons to get out of the house instead of just stay at home, because if I'm gonna get out of the house, I'm gonna want to put in that effort to dress up. And sometimes I'll dress OTT just to go to the markets, or just to hang out with a friend in Garden City, or even my friend's birthday. I asked her if she didn't mind me like dressing super OTT for her birthday, and she was like, yeah, go for it. And she even tried to dress up as OTT as she could as well. I like to plan my outfits the night before. I like to do it in the evenings so that I have a reason to look forward to the next day, because I have this cute outfit I get to wear tomorrow. Isn't that gonna be so much fun? I can also see how the quote, "I want people to think of personal style as self-care," can be used to justify retail therapy, which I do not have a positive opinion on at all, especially because my mental health has resulted in me indulging in retail therapy a bit too much. I want to explain what I think retail therapy is. I think it's like just a temporary way to make yourself feel better, but it is ultimately not a responsible way to consume. Once you've bought the item to reduce your stress, you've already had that experience of buying it. And then what? You can't just buy it again. It's already bought. It's either something that you're able to put to use, or it's something you're just gonna forget about or end up getting rid of. I feel like when we are mentally ill or when we're stressed, we do have a tendency to make poor decisions with our money. And I feel like that's what I've done during pretty much all of January and like a little bit of February. For context, I went on a shopping ban since about like halfway through November until the day after Boxing Day. I was on a shopping ban because I wanted to avoid all of like these Black Friday sales and Boxing Day sales and stuff, and also because I had spent a lot of money at Supernova and a swap meet, and it was also a point in time where I didn't have much money. So the day after Boxing Day came around, and due to time zones, there were still, I guess, a few Boxing Day sales going on, and I had some Christmas money, and I bought a pair of Lucy and Yak dungarees and this amazing confetti dress that you would have seen in my last two videos. But then I started to buy more things, more than I should have, and more than the Christmas money I had gotten. I am far from being in any financial danger, but I need to be cautious. I feel like I was buying this stuff in order to try and distract myself from these feelings of anxiety, of not knowing where I'm going, and I still don't know at this point. I ended up buying 2 pairs of sunglasses that I had to get rid of because I bought them when it was hot, and when I was grieving the loss of my purple sunglasses, yeah, that was a problem. I impulse bought something. I ended up buying this crappy H&M top that looked like real bad after one wash, and I realized after I spent almost $200 on a secondhand Meg Makes dress, I realized that I was falling into this pattern of buying more things than someone who is functionally unemployed should really be doing. I was afraid that I was putting myself into this cycle of shopping ban, shop a lot, shopping ban, shop a lot, shopping ban, shop a lot, and I didn't want to do that. I still feel like I have a lot of work to do in the ways of changing my own mindset and unlearning all of this consumer propaganda that has been instilled within me my entire life. It is very difficult, and especially when you're in a community like the kawaii community where everyone is obsessed with consumption, everyone is showing off their new purchases and stuff. I actually almost did another haul where I was gonna show all of these, you know, secondhand, sustainable, ethical goods that I got, and then I decided against it because I did not buy most of those things with a truly sustainable mindset, or like a truly clear mindset. And I thought I would be promoting the type of consumption that I am so outspoken about. No one is saying it outright, but you're seeing people constantly having this new stuff and being happy about it, and it's like we forget to show what happiness looks like when you're just enjoying what you already own. And it's also why I love the quote, "I want people to think of personal style as self-care," because I don't think that quote is saying you should buy more stuff and like believe that is self-care, especially since Stella Rose herself is also conscious about sustainable fashion. I think the whole point is we need to take the time to just enjoy that process of dressing up and experimenting with what we already have in our wardrobe. That's like the most fun part of fashion, and it constantly gets overshadowed. Always about the collecting, the accumulating, and not so much about the using, the wearing, the styling. I think that sustainability has also helped me think of clothes in a way that is more self-care like. It really does encourage you to question what it is about fashion that you love. What about your personal style is absolutely essential to you, and what are some things that might be part of your personal style that aren't the most sustainable but you are willing to go without. I think having that strictness about your personal style is really, really important in terms of self-care, because you know, it's harder to be mentally healthy when you've got, I guess, all of this junk in your brain, just the same as it's harder to be healthy when you're eating all of this junk. And this is a comparison I've seen. I forgot the exact quote, but I'll put it up here, but it was pretty much comparing fast fashion to junk food, and the implication was that sustainable fashion is more like healthy fashion, which is really true. I feel so much more confident in my personal style and my fashion ever since getting into sustainability. So in conclusion, indulging in that creative process and like having a reason to just go out and do the things that you need to do, that is why I personally consider fashion to be self-care for me. There can be a way to misunderstand or use personal style to justify certain behaviors that might not be all that healthy. I think as long as you're properly understanding it, as long as you're trying to have as healthy a relationship with fashion as possible, it is going to help you in the long run. It feels good to have a reason for why I do what I do. Something deeper than just, oh, I like it, or oh, it makes me happy. If you were to just rip this fashion away from me, I would be so devastated, because it is that important to me, and I am not frivolous for thinking that. I am not naive for thinking that. We all deserve a right to self-expression. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I managed to edit it into something that makes sense and is engaging, and I will see you in my next video.